Welcome back to the Michael Brooks Show. Folks, in addition to abolishing almost all Democratic technology firms in the country and having Tom Perez resign immediately, we also all know that we need to have a complete and total shutdown of technology until we figure out what the hell is going on. And here to explain why we need to do that is our friend Cory Pein, who's host of the News from Nowhere podcast. Great podcast. Get to it on Patreon. He's also the author of Live, Work, 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 Die, A Journey into the Savage Heart of Silicon Valley. Cory Pein, welcome back to TMBS.
It's good to be back, Michael. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure.
I also am one of the two writers for AM Quickie now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I got hired by Sam, and then immediately started having accidents, breaking bones.
So I should say, for people who aren't aware, there's a thing called the AM Quickie, which launched. It's a daily news roundup and brief. You can go subscribe to it on iTunes. And Cory is writing for it, which is awesome. I think it's going to undoubtedly take it to the next level. And in addition to that, Cory, because he's been dealing with Sam, is now having a variety of mishaps.
Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, I fell down the side of a mountain trying to snowboard and broke my leg.
Oh.
And yeah, Jesus, and I'm resident in Canada, right?
Right.
Which is really good. This is why I think it's really important that Bernie Sanders becomes president, so that I can one day move back to the United States.
So I think that is both true, and also the way you're talking about the Canadian healthcare system reminds me of the guy in Office Space who's thrilled that he's like a quadriplegic because he can quit his job. That's how you're talking about Canadian and U.S. healthcare right now.
Well, I think I got out of the experience with maybe $70 U.S. in costs so far, most of which are going to get reimbursed because my wife has a job with employer insurance. So that's what happens in Canada when you have an accident.
What bone did you break?
And it's a nice experience. Nobody's like badgering you at the ER for like your insurance or whether you have a job or, sign these forms. There's no law. Like, they talk about the weight. I mean, none of that is true. It's all lies. It's all total lies. And I'm the kind of person that has like panic attacks going to a doctor in the States, just it's not something that's in my experience. And it's like something happens when you're in a country with a functioning healthcare system and people treating you nice and, not like a sack of money, waiting to be, jabbed with a siphon. Yeah. And it just makes you treat the world a little bit differently. Like it makes you reconsider people's motives and like whether we can function as a society. It's a big thing. So, it's not what you called me on to talk about, but no, I just thought I'd share. It's what the stakes are.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo this. Hey, Cory, it's Matt. I've said this story before a few months or so ago, but
always bears repeating.
Yeah, my girlfriend had to spend a night in a hospital in France because she had food poisoning. I think basically what it was, but she just we had to go in and first we went to this American hospital for like expats, and they're like, actually, you're probably not going to want to stay here because it's going to be a bill of like $700-800 for an overnight stay. So we took an Uber to the French hospital nearby and stayed for like 13-14 hours overnight, run a whole bunch of tests, got IV drip and everything like that. And then when we were ready to get out of there, they just had us sign something and then said, get out of here. There was no money. Like it felt like walking out of a department store with a bunch of like goods underneath your arm. And they're just like, no, you can actually just take those. You're fine.
And it's so warped
and isn't it
that we would
interesting
even
to think
make
about how that
comparison.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying it's true, but it's so insane. Like, we've been so warped by the discourse and the barbarism of healthcare that it's like you can go and get your life saved, and it's like stealing from a department store.
Well, maybe eventually we'll be healthy enough as a society, and the left will have enough representation in our politics to where we can talk about why it's actually good to steal from department stores.
That's the next phase.
That's 2024.
Yeah, that's right. That's why the Bernie State of the Union, and that's why I'm announcing a new initiative to encourage people to steal from Nordstrom's and Bloomingdale's.
Then 1 mile, there's 25
Yes.
homeless people
Yeah.
without coats, and there's 90 coats in there.
Yeah.
You do the math.
And even as we have, he's like reading off his accomplishments. He's just like, and even though Jeff Bezos is in Guantanamo, American life expectancy has increased. There were still multiple coats that are not on homeless people, which is tonight. We are announcing an initiative to engage in a mass redistribution program from all upscale department stores in the country. You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.